Hi guys, sorry, let me just get this out of the way. Hi guys, FPSMadness here, and welcome back to the Uninkable Dads podcast. And today we will be going through a championship winning deck. We'll also bring
in the house.
Yeah, I got one finally. We'll be going through some spicy decks for you, ready for your set champs this weekend, and a few of the card reveals. So I'm joined, as always, by Grandad Glenn, the man that before Lorcana was collecting stamps, and every now and then we have to remind him not to lick the back of his cards, but you know, we're getting there. So without further ado, let's jump into the episode. Okay, so as always, how was your week in Lorcana?
So it's been an interesting week. There's been lots and lots of new reveals coming out. Been a bit of a splurge this reveal season, rather than sort of that drip of new content. It's all come out in a bit of a rush, so I can't say I've sort of kept up with it, but it's been really interesting to see some of the new cards come along. I haven't managed to play as much as I would have liked, unfortunately, due to a son who decided to have a rare, unexplained allergic reaction to something. We have no idea what. He's 20 years old. He spends all his time in his bedroom, but somehow managed to have an allergic reaction to something, which meant that I didn't get to our locals on Friday night, and I also didn't manage to play in the set champs that I would dearly have loved to have played in. So yeah, my week was mainly around keeping up, watching you lot on Melly, who did go to the set champs, checking out some of the reveals, and just playing a bit online. So I've been taking some of the masterclass advice from Ade last week, and been continuing to, try and learn how to play Blurple. So that's been good.
Nice.
It's an interesting deck. I actually think it's a deck that is helping make me a better player. Just really makes you think about the game, makes you think a couple of turns ahead. You can't be reckless with it because you can get in trouble. I haven't got a big red button to just reset the board and go again. So, you've got to be quite careful in your strategy. So that's been interesting. But limited amount of play. But I know that you had, rather more fruitful Lorcana week.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. So Friday was my record of 2-0 has fallen. I decided to run pretty much Addy's deck on Friday. I took out a couple of cards and put in a couple of Cogsworth just because I wanted to see how it went. I was worried about running into Blurple, and I thought the only chance I'm really going to get to really put this deck through the test and learn its play lines is to try and play it. So my only opportunity was Friday. So I was like, no, I've got to do it. So I run basically his deck. Lack of practice showed, I was nowhere near good enough with it. And I just didn't get anywhere with it at all. I think I only won one game all night. But coming out of that, I actually took some of the play lines from it, or some of the ideas from it, and put it into my deck for Saturday. So my deck on Saturday, which, did well, we managed to clutch them out. So story there on that in a minute. But yeah, so the deck I ended up taking to set champs on Saturday is as follows. So this is slightly different for Ruby Amethyst. Mainly the Finders Keepers, which not many people seem to be playing in Ruby Amethyst. It can be quite slow, but after what he was saying about, don't be scared to take a turn off to play things here or there when you need to, this is where this come in, and him talking about that really did narrow down for me. And then the Iago and Bell together in Blurple works so well because you play this on turn 4. If they play a Genie, as soon as they quest a bit, this can take it out. And then you can use Bell to heal this, or even better, I was doing my own Genie. They were using Elsa to put damage on, and then I was just healing it and moving it away again. Or, there was loads of options you could be doing with basically these 4 cards here that meant that something was always surviving. So this works really well. I got to say, Iago and Finance Keepers were probably 2 of the MVPs of the of the deck. I actually took this picture, which I'm calling the MVPs of the deck. We'll go back to the deck list in a second, but the Mauis were just so good against. It's Maui, he's such a good card, and Tremaine. Everyone's just suspecting Medusa. It's like there's so many Medusas around at the minute that no one was really expecting Tremaine, and being able to move damage with Bell to take out one character, which normally is the small character, then playing Tremaine and managing to take something off. So, but yeah, they were the MVPs of the deck for me, and it worked really well. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, you got a lot of threes in this deck. Was that just trying to fit things in, or was that?
Yeah, so basically, this is what I worked out. So when I was playing this, the Bell and the Finance Keepers aren't standard in this deck at all. Neither's a Yago, really. And I wanted to fit these in. And the only way I could do it, really, without horrendously chopping down the 1-drops and losing 4 altogether, or taking out something more, what I thought was impactful and needed, was I decided to drop 3 on the first, basically, 3 turns. Which was consistent enough. You've still got 9 1-drop cards. You've only got 3 2s, but then the idea is you've always got potentially of a 1 into 2 1s or 1 into another 1. But your first 2 plays aren't really the ones that you really want to be concentrating on with this deck anyway. And then the Crab and Sisu, again, they're great, but they're only great when they come up at the right time. So it's one of those ones of, from 4 onwards, I wanted to try and make sure I had what I needed, and Genie and Iago had to be 4s for me. And then Elsa, as much as it would have been nice having 4 of, I was happy to drop 1 Elsa to fit in another Bell. So there was a bit of a compromise.
Yeah, I think the Bell's very good.
Yeah,
especially when you've got Genie, Iago, and Elsa and Maui. You've got 4 cards there that can hold damage really well.
Yeah, definitely. This package here works so well together. Obviously, Sisu. I was going to run 4 Queen's Castles. Funny story. I've lost 2. Can't find them, so I stuck 2 libraries in instead. But the libraries did do all right. I got a couple of card draws off it. And then, obviously, I wanted to fit the Finalist Keepers in. So, up against one of the games, I was actually playing the guy who finished second to Addy on Saturday. So, I actually played basically almost Addy's list. It wasn't far off. He had a couple of little changes, but there wasn't anything that different from it. So the little practices I think I did on Friday really helped me for that game. And I think the Iago and the Bell, where they're not standard in that list, changed it. Because if you look at the matchup, the Blurple into Ruby Amethyst, Blurple should be winning 90% of the time. It's the stronger deck late game as such, because they can get to their late game quicker. Yeah. The only way you beat them is to just keep continuing the late game and drag it on and on and on. And further and further and further you get, it then switches back because you're now at the same ink as they are, but yet you've got more control tools than they do. So, it was a good game. And game 1, he was on the play, and he even said at the end of the game, he said, I don't know how you've won that. He said, I'm not being funny here. I generally don't know how you've managed to get me on the play when I had a really strong start and I had 7 cards in my hand at turn 8 and 9, and yet you've still managed to keep up and out-tempo me. And I think the Finders Keepers was the key there, because whenever he only had something that only quests for 2 or 3 on board, I was taking the turn off to draw cards, because then I was drawing into my Tremaines, drawing into the Beeper, drawing into the Maui, which gave me options. So, yeah, it was good. It worked really well. And then the other 2 major games I played were Ali, which is obviously Harlan's other half. She was playing Purple Steel. She played really well. She got to, I think, 18 on both games, but I won it 2-0. Again, just Beeper, Tremaine, Maui, just the standard control for that one. I just had to basically survive until late game. And then Harlan's game, he did actually win. So even though I didn't actually come first, I did finish second. He did actually pass me down the playmat. He decided that he's got 1 and so's Ali. I've known Harlan for quite a while, and he's decided that he wanted to pass it down. So that's what he did. So that's how I ended up with the playmat, even though technically coming second. but that was a tough game. That was Kiwi deck. So that's very fast aggro. I actually got in game one when he was on the play, and that shocked both of us because we're like, okay, I've got a chance here. If I can get you on the play, I've got a chance. So we went into game two, and it got very close. He managed to put down, I can't remember exactly, like a Smee and a MacDuck when he was on 18 law, and I could deal one or the other. So I couldn't deal both. And then third game, I opened my mulligan, didn't see a one drop, didn't see a two, didn't see a three. I think I had a Bell and Elsa and one other card, and I was like, well, I'll keep the Bell and Elsa, I'll put everything else back. I need to find some ones, twos, threes, because he's an aggro deck. And drew into 2 B preps and 3 more 5 drops. So my opening hand was 5 drops and 2 B preps. And I just looked at him and went, well, this game's kind of over. So I will, because now I'm on the play as well, so I'm down a card as well. So I was like, well, I ink Elsa and pass. I ink Bell and I pass. I ink Maui and I pass. So by turn 4, he was already on like stupid amounts. And I did manage to nearly pull it back. So I did get the B prep. I did start to clear the board. I got the Sisu. I was starting to gain power again, and then he managed to put down. I had to beep at the board. He had again to Pluto and something else on board. I had 2 B rips in hand, so I wasn't too overly fast. Beeper at the board, and he slapped down a McDuck. And at that point, because I'd already cleared the board, I'd already been through 3 Mauis, I was like, well, there's nothing I can do here. I can't deal with it. Yeah. So he got me with the McDuck. That saved him. But yeah, it was really good day. It was nice turnout. There wasn't massive amounts of people, but everyone there played really well, and it was a good day. So yeah, I can't complain. I won a match, so it was a good day for me, 100%. So.
Congratulations!
Thank you very much.
That's awesome. And there's life in Ruby Amethyst yet, so
there is
slightly different take on it, which is really nice to see.
Yeah, that's it. It's what I'm calling my version of it. It's a little bit different. It's not your standard Ruby Amethyst control. It's not got pretty much any of the bounce in there. There's no rabbit. There's no goat. I wasn't about trying to cheese out the last few law here or there. I just wanted cards in hand and control the game and go from there. And it seemed to work well. So, I will continue playing this now. Although I'm not at locals this week, and the week after is Jafar. So how much more play I'm going to see out of this deck, I don't know, but we'll see.
No, it's interesting because you say on the goat, and I've struggled to get my head around taking goat out of decks because he's been a staple of Ruby Amethyst for so long and saved me in so many Ruby Sapphire matchups. But with a lot less Ruby Sapphire being played, I do find that when I'm playing Ruby Amethyst, I ink goat quite a lot. Yeah. So yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I found myself inking it, and I've got to be honest, I'll give a shout out to Panos, because we both sat there on the Friday after the Burple thing, and I said, I'm going back to this. And the only issue I was having with it was aggro. So he gave me the idea of the Queen of Hearts at the start. Queen of Hearts into Crab, does a 4-hit, followed by another 4-hit, So it deals with aggro really well. So he gave me that idea, and he said about the Iago into Blurple. So he gave me the idea. I went away and come up with my 3 of everything for the first 3 turns, and it seemed to work really well. So, I can't really complain about it too much. But I'll say I'm now, hoping we've got all the reveals. I think are nearly out or are out. So over the next few days, I'm going to have a look and see what I can slot in here and see if I can take anything else up. But we're talking about reveals. We've got a couple that we've decided that are definitely worth looking at and are worth a little mention. So, do you want to start us off with your 2?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first one is an Amber Sapphire card, Ludwig von Drake, all-round expert. So this is a 2-cost uninkable 1/1 quest for 1, but it's got 2 abilities, and this is basically bare necessities and let it go on a body. So you get both. So the first ability, Superior Mind. When you play this character, chosen opponent reveals their hand and discards a non-character card of your choice. So it's effectively the same mechanic as bare necessities. And then second ability, Lasting Legacy. When this character is banished, you may put this card into your inkwell face down and exerted. So you're getting guaranteed ramp off of it with that effect, and you're getting to discard a card from your opponent, and you've got a body. I mean, it's a 1/1 quest for one, but it is still a body on board. So yeah, I think it's a really interesting card. So this could be quite a boost for Amethyst Sapphire decks, I think.
Nice. Yeah, I like it when it come up. I thought it just really does give the deck a bit of options here and there. So, and then going from a card Benecessities that's now gained a body, we've also got one that had a body that's been kind of lost.
Yeah, so this is Doc without the Doc. So this is a 3-cost steel card, Desperate Plan. It's an action which says if you have no cards in your hand, draw until you have 3 cards in your hand. Otherwise, choose and discard any number of cards and then draw that many cards. So, Doc is a 2-cost uninkable, has a body, but when you play Doc, you discard any cards that you have in your hand and draw 2 cards. So this will draw you an extra card if you have no cards in your hand. This is the last card you play out. You draw 3 cards. Otherwise, if you have got cards in your hand, maybe they're not the right cards and you really need to find a specific card, you can play this, discard any cards that aren't the right cards, and then draw that many cards. So it's a good way, potentially, of unbricking your hand. Would have been useful when you had 5/5 costs and 2 be prepared. But yeah, useful potentially early game for that reason. If you've really got a bit of a sticky hand, this could come in to just help you unclog that.
Makes me wonder whether you could potentially run a few more uninkles in the deck with this, because it gives you that flexibility of saying, well, I've got these 4 uninkables that I don't really want. They're 4 ofs in my deck anyway. Let's get rid of these 4 and draw 4 more, sort of thing.
Yeah, and some of the sort of lower to the ground decks that combo with steel have struggled to find that card draw naturally, because a lot of the, even if you play Amethyst Steel, Friends is quite a slow card. Rabbit isn't quite the card that you want in the more aggressive decks. So maybe you could combo this with Doc. I could see potentially playing 4 Docs and 2 of this, or 3 and 3, something like that.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why not. It seems like a really good card, to be honest. Yeah, so I noticed on here, it's the flavor text on this one is, it's my decision, my choice, and you won't stop me by Namari. So, talking about Namari, we'll go on to the ones that I chose for this time around, which is Namari herself. So I actually chose this one because I just think this is...
is that the same art?
Really good.
Is that the same?
I don't know.
So the one before, this looks like it's a close-up of...
No, not quite.
Not quite. Well, she's on top of the
building. She's got the
crown
in her hand. It's from the same scene.
Yeah, it's from the same scene. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Now she hasn't quite got it.
On the thing and jumping for it. Yeah, quite possible.
Okay.
So this one I think could be very, very good. So anyone on Spotify or listening, it's Namari Single-Minded Rival. It's a 5-cost inkable, 0 strength, 5 willpower. When you play this character, and at the start of your turn, you may draw a card and choose and discard a card. So it still seems to be going down this road of not so much drawing loads of cards, but potentially just swapping out the ones that you have got to find the ones you need, which I don't mind. It's not too bad. It brings in, there's a lot of cards that are like, do something when you've got no cards in hand, and you gain bonuses for having no cards in hand. So this could be playing into those a little bit more. She quests for 2. Now, the reason I think she could be extremely good is her ability, Extreme Focus. This character gains 1+ strength for each card in your discard.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So, argument's sake, like you were saying 2 seconds ago, with your card, you could discard 4, draw 4. This has all of a sudden got +4 strength. And this is turn 5 as well. The chance of you not having anything in your discard in steel. every time you sing a song, it's going in your discard. This gains 1 strength.
On later
You stick.
game, you could quite easily have 10, 12 cards in your
Oh yeah,
discard.
yeah. This I think
This
could
could
be
be a takeout
extremely
duck
powerful.
mana on its own.
Yeah, that's it. Work out a way to give this rush, and you've basically got a supersized Maui that quests for 2. So yeah, I think this card could definitely be quite powerful. I'm very tempted to try and get these early on because I think once people clock onto how powerful this could be, this is my my shout for the set that I reckon is going to fly up. And then the other card I decided to go with is one that I think is extremely good. This is down in New Orleans. Is it New Orleans? Yeah. It's a 6-cost uninkable. It's an action and a song. So anything 6 cost or more can sing it for free. And the ability is look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Nothing special there. We've had this before with Gaston. You may reveal a character, item, or location. That's basically anything that's not an action or a song. So you've got a good chance of hitting with this. And if it's 6 costs or less, you can play it for free. That's the bit that is crazy.
So you
obviously, you put the rest on the bottom of your deck.
You could effectively, quite easily, build a deck around this that basically almost guarantees you are playing a card for free. That wouldn't be too hard to do, would it? Just limit the amount of songs in there and have nothing more than a 6 cost. And you'll guarantee you're hitting something.
I've got to do a little bit of digging and find out. I don't think there's a way of boosting Ursula's singing outside of Amber. I think the only way you could do it is in Amber, but otherwise there's a potential you could double sing this and then
sing it, right.
I don't think you can. I think the only things that boost singing is in Amber, so it wouldn't be possible. But nevertheless, this card is so good. There's so many cards that are 6 that could be singing this, and you're going to just play another 6 cost for free. So this card, it automatically replaces itself. The chance of you not finding a character, item, or location 6 cost or less on the top 3 cards is, unless you're playing red, blue, and you've got 3 B preps on the top of your deck, you're pretty much guaranteed to hit, I'd say at least 90% of the time, if not more. But yeah, I think this card could be extremely powerful. I don't know whether it's technically a negative because you're kind of depleting a card out of your hand to play a card, but it's giving you options. It's look at the top 3. So I think it's got a really good chance. I think it's got a really good chance of being a really good and quite powerful card. So we'll have to wait and see on that one.
Because you're singing it, so there's the potential.
It doesn't cost you any ink.
But it doesn't cost you any ink. So if we are, let's say we're on turn 7 because we've got to get a 6 cost. Well, no, we would have ramped probably with blue. So let's say we're on turn 5 and we're singing this. Then there's a potential of you get slamming down sort of 12 ink worth of cards in one turn. That's got to be strong.
Yeah, and this could end up in blue-green as well, and there's some really nice cards that ramp quite quickly at the minute, and there's some nice cards that could really do some serious damage with this. This sort of thing as well plays so well with ink. Geyser or Geyser or whatever it is, because you can get up to 6, play out a 6 drop, play in Geyser and take everyone back to 3. You can sing this next turn and then play a 6 cost when you've only got 3 ink. So there's some really good combos that you could be doing with this, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be really up there. I think if this was an action only, it doesn't see play. The fact it's a song makes this completely playable.
Absolutely. I think Geyser is going to be an interesting card, right? Because a lot of people were excited about it when it came out last set, but it just didn't quite seem to have the pieces to combo with it. But I think we're seeing a couple of pieces. I know there's a couple of other cards that people have been talking about on our group chat that I can see that could combo with Geyser, this as well. So might be that this set we see that really coming into play.
Yeah, I think so. I think there are, like you say, there are some really nice cards that have been revealed in green blue that could really turn that deck from being something that's close. We need some more to all of a sudden something that's seeing a lot of play. Especially as when rotation happens, we don't know what we're losing. That it could become the meta deck. We just don't know. But yeah, so let us know in the comments below what was your favourite reveal so far. Let us know what your favourite card is. But yeah, definitely.
While we're talking about reveals, I just want to pick up on. So we had the next chapter announcement, and we were told in there that we were getting Reign of Jafar, which we knew, and then we were getting Fabled. Fabled was going to be the rotation set, so that was when the first 4 sets would rotate out.
Yeah.
They were going to reprint cards in Fabled, so we knew that was
Yeah.
coming. The artwork on the reprint was going to be the same the original artwork for the cards, and we explained that was because people are very used to seeing the cards, and therefore it wouldn't be confusing. And then they started revealing cards in Reign of Jafar, and we had reprints, which we weren't told we were getting any reprints in Reign of Jafar, and then we had art reprints.
Yeah.
I'm here for because I like the old arts, and I think that's really good. And I love the idea of being able to potentially run, a play set of a card and actually have different art styles with old arts within that play set, or being able to pick your favorite art and say I'm going to run 4 of that one because I like that. I mean, I'm here for that, so I think that's a good thing. But it just left me a little bit confused because I was like, oh, okay, that's a bit of a surprise, and maybe that's the intention. Maybe they were like, no, we're not going to tell you everything. We're gonna leave some surprises.
I don't know whether they just forgot to talk about it. It felt like it was like, oh god, we forgot to say there's 2 in Jafar. But they did leave it to Baker, didn't they? They passed it on to Baker to say, look, you've got the first one here. You do this because it's gonna get to more people probably quicker than them doing it themselves, which is hilarious. And then he basically said there is 1 more in this set, and there is only 1 more in this set. But from that, they then, like you say, they went back, not back on themselves, because I don't think they 100% said they would 100% be from original art. I think everyone just assumed that because the only ones they've shown have all been original art. I don't think they actually clarified it. I'm not sure. I'll have to watch back.
I'm
because I
sure,
think
but
the
they
guy
did say
did. I
something
think
about.
this is terrible. I can't remember the people's names, but I mean the guy who was hosting it, he did. He said, "Oh, we'll bring back your favorite arts and stuff."
Yeah.
And I thought at the time, I heard her say, "Well, some of them." Now, I think a lot of people thought, "Oh, we're bringing some of them back," whereas I think what she meant is some of the original arts back.
Yeah, I must admit they didn't categorically say there will be no old art cards. They just said, yeah, we're keeping your favorite art, and this will make it easier to recognise. But yeah, if we're talking about what we're talking, we think around half the sets, aren't we? We think about 100 or something cards in Fabled. So yes, it might be that they've decided that out of this 100 card, these whatever it is, 40 cards or whatever, need to have the same artwork because they're so recognisable, or for whatever reason. We could still see a lot of old arts, but yeah, that wasn't the way that I'd understood the announcement.
No, that's it. And I think, and a lot of people are the same, so therefore it's taken a few people by surprise. But it is a good thing because Fabled for me was one of those sets that was going to be a bit like, well, I don't really have a reason to buy it. I'll just buy the old cards I need. But if there's going to be alt art, I'll be like, no, I want that. I want the alternate art. So, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, I don't think we're going to find out any Fabled news anytime soon. But we do have the weekly Lorecast now, so you never know. You never know. Absolutely. Maybe someone will accidentally say something live that they're not supposed to. Yeah. It's happened before.
Yeah, be a nice way to switch up a deck, right? If you've been playing a color combination for a long time, and that color combination survives rotation, and you're basically just looking to update your deck. Being able to actually play new art in there that feels nice.
It's also a case for new people as well, isn't it? So it's like new people coming into the game. obviously the one they did reveal was Captain Hook. It was probably a 2 or 3p card. It's not really going to make too much difference. But if a card does get revealed with alternate art that's, a £4 or £5 card, and then you can get it from your booster box or from from friends that have got loads of spares now because it's not set 1 card anymore. It's going to make it easier for access for new players, but also in the same sense, it will make it easier for people like us that are in a situation where you're making multiple decks. It's like, I don't really want to keep 8 Captain Hooks. I've got no reason to. But I'll keep 4 of that one and 4 of that one. So therefore, when it comes to building decks, you've got, you can run the old style, I'll have the new style, or, it gives you a bit more flexibility, and there's a chance that, if you're running multiple decks, you might be like, well, I've got a blue steel and a purple steel, well, I could put that one in that one and that one in that one, so, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see what we're doing there, but
Great.
we're talking about decks.
We got family fights over who's having what art now.
Yeah, that's it. No, I want to run that one. I like that hook better. But yeah, talking about decks, we have some spicy decks that you've seen. Which have these won set champs or been close to set champs or?
So we've got a range. We've got one of the decks is I think this first one didn't win the set champs. This was played at our local set champs the other week. I think the gentleman came about 12th out of, I think there was 24 players. So it wasn't a top ranking deck, but I just thought it was a very interesting deck to look at. And I managed to speak to the gentleman afterwards. He has had some good results elsewhere, with the deck. So I think it's a quite capable deck, but I just thought it was something very different, really. It is, in a way, a Ruby Fusser deck, but it's got a few different cards in there that are not normally played in Ruby Fusser, and not normally 2 of. That was something that the gentleman, so Ryan, sort of spoke to me about, because he said that catches people off a lot, because even if people get that you're playing Chernobog, they only expect that you're playing 1 of. And he said there have been times where he got the Chernobog out, opponents managed to deal with it, but obviously to deal with Chernobog is taking you quite a bit of resource. And he was able to then just play another Chernobog out, and his opponent's face just drops. Crikey, I've managed to deal with one of them. That's gone. Oh no, it's back again. How the heck do I deal with it twice?
Yeah, that's it. Full Medusa as well. That's brutal.
Yeah, full Medusas.
If you see 1 or 2 and you're like, oh well, there won't be any more. Oh no, there's a third. Oh well, there won't be. Oh no, there's a full. Yeah, I like it. I can see the playing, the few of the early game stuff to make sure you get to your late game quite quick with the Gaston and Doc and stuff. So yeah, I like it. It's a nice deck. So moving on from that one, we have a purple steel deck.
Okay, so this one made a top 4 at a set championships. Not quite sure where. I looked at a number of recent set championships across the world just to see. So LA Masters, I think that says. So this is probably a US one. Yeah. But this was is a sub $100 deck.
Oh, nice.
So I thought it was interesting that you can do very well at a set champs. I think this might have actually won the set champs. I should have written it down, but I actually think this might have won the set champs. And purple steel, so it's a fairly low to the ground, fairly fast deck. You cap out at 4 ink for Goat and Genie here. Everything else is cheaper than 4 ink. You've got your card draw in your dock plus your Amethyst cards, your Broom and your Diablo, your Genie to draw your cards. So you've got just about enough card draw there, not an abundance, but enough. And you've got the library. So if you utilise the library well, that should be enough card draw. And then you've got quite a quick deck in terms of Giant Cobra can spit out uninterruptible law. You can, when you play him, you can discard a card to gain 2 lore. You've got Goat, which obviously gains lore when he comes into play and when he leaves play. And then you've got Mr. Smee, you've got Genie that both quests for 2. So yeah, I thought it was really interesting. You've got the Seven Dwarfs Mine there as well, so you can get locations down at the right times. They can gain you some quick lore. The Seven Dwarfs Mine, of course, you can move something in there and do damage to your opponent, so you can use it for removal, and that peat blocks opposing action. So I thought it was a dock deck that has a bit of everything to it. And yeah, sub $100.
That's nice. I've seen a few of these sort of decks do quite well. Like I say, I think this deck's kind of matchup dependent. If you hit into the wrong things, you can struggle. Hit into anything still, I think you can have a good day. You know, you've got Pete, and most things have free health. So you're going to survive most songs unless they're running anything bigger. So yeah, it's a good day. I've seen, like I say, it's quite similar to where I want to roughly take Millie's deck, my daughter's deck, quite close to it, low to the ground, play cards out. But with a little bit of control there, you got the Madam John Silver, you know, Crab. So you got options if you need them. So yeah, I like it. Up next, we have a Sapphire Steel one.
Yeah, so this made a top 8 in a larger tournament, and just thought it was interesting because it's got a few cards in it that aren't normally played. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know if they did play the Enchanted version. I suspect. Yeah, maybe they did. So yeah, that's Cece's
I like
unusual.
this. So you got the standard the Steel Sapphire's got. So you got the Calhoun Callahan, Doc, Alice, me, Pluto, Pete, John Silver. The Jafar's a new one that's been coming in, and I quite like it. I think it does give you a few options. Cogsworth, Gantu, and then you've got the couple of outliers. So Chempo's a bit of an outlier that's not normally in these sort of decks because you've normally Pluto. It's not very often you do back-to-back Bodyguard, but I mean, it's an option. And then Miss Bianca. So obviously this, I believe you pay 2 less if you have an ally. And I think
Happy's an ally. Smee's an ally.
Smee is.
Mr.
Pluto
Arrows.
is.
Mr. Arrow's an ally.
Yeah, so you got some nice options there. And then Sisu. Now, from memory, because I can't quite see this, I think it's whenever a character quests, look at the top 2 cards of your deck.
Whenever this character
one in hand, one on the bottom, I believe.
It's basically whenever Sisu quests.
Yeah, not whenever a character. Yeah, sorry, when she quests, it's basically
how far I go.
Because that goes in. This goes at the bottom of your deck.
Yeah.
This is it's a blue action. 1 cost. Develop your own.
I'll develop your brain. Yeah, look at top 2.
So it's basically develop your brain every time CC quest, and with 4 strength and sitting 4 willpower and sitting behind a bodyguard. You could probably get 2, maybe even 3 quests off. If you can get 3 quests off on this could be quite nice and give you that little bit of card draw that sometimes this deck is missing. So, not sure on the 2 McDucks. I mean, that might be just because obviously when I played against Ireland, I noticed how impactful this card is. You know,
and 4 Gantu. 4 Gantu.
Yeah, I think so. Because you need him to. He helps you close games out so easily that I think you kind of you have to be running the 4.
Yeah, I guess you got the bodyguards there.
Yeah, that's it. When you got the bodyguards and when you got the Alice, so I suppose it's Alice into Pluto. They deal with Pluto. You slap down Chempo and they go, "Oh well, this is gonna be fun." So yeah, I like it. So moving on from that on. Oh, see now I love a green steel deck. This comes second in Max Boarding House by looks of things.
Yeah, who let the docks out as well? Great name for a deck.
Docks out. Love it.
This is your sort of deck, so why don't you?
Yeah. So obviously you got Merfolk, brilliant card. Quest for 2. Whenever they challenge it, they have to discard a card. Diablo, obviously everyone knows what Diablo is, but this one lets you look at the deck, and the big version you can shift onto if you discard an action, and then basically you draw whenever your opponent draws on your turn. No, their turn. Calhoun Callahan, everyone knows a good old Calhoun Callahan, that likes to gain lore when she challenges. Obviously, you got Doc for card draw. Now, the Captain Hook I tried when I tried to do Green Steel, and I wasn't 100% on it, but it's obviously done well for him. He's come second. So, while this character is exerted, opposing pirates characters can't quest. So, I suppose if you come against anything that's steel, Smee can't quest.
Yeah.
So, I suppose it's pretty good. And Gantu as well. Gantu wouldn't be able to quest.
Yeah, that's true.
Gantu's, oh no, I don't know. He's a captain actually, not a pirate. So yeah,
Yes,
but there's definitely some. Pete
definitely
wouldn't be able to quest. Big Pete wouldn't be able to quest. So there's definitely some that it would stall there.
Yeah, and it draws a card if it has to be challenged.
Yeah.
As well, which is
So whenever they challenge it, if they challenge it twice, if they need to use 2 characters, you draw 2 cards, which is nice. Lawrence normally seen in Amber Steel, but again it works just as well here. Prince Philip, I did play around with in mine. It's very good. It's a nice answer late game. When you think they're coming up to the Sisu sort of range, you can slap down a Prince Philip. If they play Sisu, it doesn't go, and they still can't get rid of it very easily due to ward. So it survives quite nicely. Pete is just so good. He's one of the better cards in Green Steel currently. And then you got the standard Storm and Strength, and I'm Still Here. So I'm Still Here gives something resist to. So it's quite nice to give it to Diablo, or you can give it to a Lawrence. There's loads of options here that resist is going to be very favourable on any of these cards really. And then your big closers here would be obviously Pete and Go-Go. If you can ping off little bits of damage here and there, and then get a nice 4 or 5 off Go-Go or something like that, it'd be quite nice. And the Cove makes it really interesting. So I played against the Blue Steel deck when I was running Green Steel with a Calhoun and a Hidden Cove. And I moved it to Hidden Cove and quested Calhoun. And they just looked at me as if like, all right. They were like, well, we trade Calhoun. And I'm like, no, we don't. He's like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, yours does, mine doesn't. And they're like, what? And I was like, yeah, see, now mine survives and now mine hits for 4. And they're just like, oh, damn it. So, Calhoun in Cove is actually quite nice because it just stops things trading. So, like, Smee doesn't trade, Pete doesn't trade. It just stops that little bit of tempo. Obviously, the main reason it's there is for Diablo, but to get it out of brawl range. But it's also quite nice on some of the other cards as well. So, yeah. It looks really good. And, well done getting Green Steel to second.
Yeah, absolutely. And not exactly a budget deck, but if you've got the Diablos, there's not a lot else in this deck that's really expensive.
I don't think so. Pete and Calhoun potentially a little bit higher. I think Strength is still, isn't it? Yeah. So it's like I say, it's not budget friendly, but it's not horrendous. It's by far not the most expensive deck out there. No, I like that. I like that one a lot. It is up to you. Okay, so that leads us on to the flavor text game. So last week's flavor text was, he'll be out of this in a snap. I do have one person that got it right, and to be honest, she was a little bit of a show off, so I'm calling her out. That was me ever off. Well, I think it's this. I'm like, all right, I obviously made it too easy then, didn't I? So if anyone did a comment or anything, thank you very much. And if you hold your guess, it was Merlin Crab. So he'll be out of this in a snip. I think the snip gives it away, really, doesn't it? I think that's the obvious one. But we obviously spoke about him quite a lot in the last episode. So going on from there, we have this week's.
Yeah, so I've got one for this week. So this is a pen icon. So that means it's not from the original movie. It is a Lorcana original quote. And it is, finding lore will be as easy as taking candy from children. So who would like to take candy from children? and also likes to get their hands on some lore and thinks it's going to be nice and easy.
Okay. I'll have to have a think on this one because this is a good one. I like this. Because a few characters popped to mind straight away, but then I'm like, I don't know. I like that. So yeah, drop a comment below. Let us know what you think, or you can email us at our uninkabledads@outlook.com. But yeah, thank you very much. While you're down there dropping a comment, please hit that like and subscribe button. It massively helps us out. Like I say, we're still on like 96-97% of people who watch aren't subscribed, so please feel free to hit that button for us. And yeah, I think that's all wrapped up for this week.
Absolutely. But if you do want to listen to the podcast on different channels, FPSMadness's technical expertise has got us across the world, so you can now listen to us on, I believe, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Amazon Music. Is that right?
Yeah.
There you go. So you can have us
we're
in
on all three now.
All three at the same time, different devices, just slightly out of sync, drive everyone in the house crazy. But
perfect.
But yeah, do find us if one of those is your favourite platform. Then you can find us there. As FPS said, do leave us a comment, subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you are on one of the other podcast platforms, if you could leave us a review on there, that really helps as well.
Okay, so as always, don't forget to roll up those playmats.
Especially the champion ones. Pack away the dice.
And remember, stay uninkable.
See you next time.
See you next time.
Doing today? Listen to the show and learn to play. Whether you are new or you're a pro, I'm sure we have something to show. Amber, green, red, and steel, then purple, blue, complete our wheel. Listen and you'll learn some new strats to help you win some championship mats. So what in color are you gonna choose? Inkable or uninkable? It is up to you. Choose inkable or uninkable. It is up to you.